Gotta love that.
Yes. All right. Good evening, members of the Community Health and Safety Task Force. Welcome. We'll begin with a roll call. Renee, remind me.
Lydia, first, let's we're starting the Community Health and Safety Task Force meeting at 5:44 p.m. on October 18th, 2022.
Thank you
And
so much.
Can we get a roll call?
Thank you. Councilwoman Renee Villarreal.
Present.
Okay, Julie Sanchez. Monica Alt.
Present.
Gino Zamora.
Yes, I'm here. Thank you.
Thank you. Bruce Finger.
Here.
Marcela Diaz.
Sure.
And I think that's all who we have for now. Mary Louise is excused. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
And Chris will be joining us shortly. And Emily is also excused. And Annie will be joining us shortly.
No,
Oh,
Annie's excused.
Hey, thank you.
All right. Let's see, where's my agenda? Can't find it now. There it is. We have approval of the minutes for October 4th, 2022. Did anyone have any changes or additions? Seeing none, what's the pleasure of the task force?
Move to approve.
Thank you. Can we get a second?
Second. Gotta
Okay,
get
by
the
Bruce.
on mute.
All right. And can we get a roll call? Who's doing the roll call? Valeria?
Absolutely. Councilwoman Renee Villarreal,
Yes.
Monica Alt, Gino Zamora. Did we lose Gino?
No, he's just muted.
Oh, here.
No, I was trying the trick of hitting the space bar and it didn't work.
Bruce Finger
Yes.
and Marcela Diaz.
Yes.
Thank you all. And next we have communications from the co-chairs. Renee, do you have any updates or for us?
I guess I would love to hear from you, those of you that were able to join us for the presentation, the quarterly update. Anything you want to share publicly about it. And I think the information was, I mean, we had a crazy long agenda. It was really unfortunate that we got the news about our audit being late because it took up way more of the meeting than was anticipated. So when we told you around 5-ish, I seriously thought that those presentations would go very quickly, and they didn't. They were really long. What time did we end up presenting, Valeria?
7:45.
Quarter to 8. So I think just having presence there is great. And I know that there were some questions from counselors, but I think overall people like to see that we're moving forward. We did express the delay that had occurred with the various parties to get that contract done. And there was an interesting reaction, I think more that I'm not quite sure why they felt like it was personal, but it was really like the whole process took 9 months, which it did from beginning to end. So it's nobody's fault. It's like a lot of different steps, a lot of different things that needed to happen. So I think what we wanted to convey that's why we haven't started our work, our community outreach piece as much as we'd like to. So I'll stop there and just see if there's any insights from any of you that want to share that were able to attend and stick it out with us for the long haul that night. By the way, we ended that meeting at 3 a.m.
Ugh.
It was horrible way to make decisions at the end of like early morning. So then you saw how it all played out. It was really long and we just couldn't get through the agenda, and we had land use cases that were appeals. So we had about 4 of those. Anyway, it was a long night morning. So Gino, did you want to share?
Yeah, I just wanted to share one of the observations. Different counselors had different perspectives and different filters that they heard everything through. And one of the filters and thus feedback was that it seemed to be very police focused. And in the last 6 months, I haven't felt that. There are elements of public safety initiatives, but the counselor had commented that they didn't see enough focus on mental health and well-being. And, unfortunately, I don't think the counselors really see what the presentations we receive, and a single presentation can address police interaction in the context of mental health and physical health. And I would say that our perspectives are more from the community than they are in any way critical of city government. It's how can we help city government, but also really we're trying to share the perspectives of the community. But I did want to loft that out there because maybe some of our titling of items can be a little bit broader to really encompass everything we're looking at. Maybe the counselor was a little bit sensitive to some of the titles, but that was the feedback we received from one of the counselors, that it seemed to be overly focused on law enforcement. And I don't think as a group we agree, because our focus has been a lot broader. Yeah.
Marcela.
Thank you, Jeannie.
Yeah, that's right. I think that honestly, that was a new counselor,
Mm-hmm.
right? I don't know how new she is.
Yep.
But
Very new.
I also think it's just a reflection on that it was a quarterly report. So it was 3 months worth of presentations that were very focused on that, that were a little bit focused on sort of the traffic and the criminalization piece and all of these things. And I just don't, we probably could have just reminded them, this is just three months, but we've had, 6 months to 9 months of presentations that ran the gamut on community health, restorative justice, mental health, all of that. It's just that this was a quarterly report, and these were the ones that we did in the last 3 months. So I think it's just short-term memory, totally understandable. If they had seen the full, if they had gone back and looked at all the quarterly reports, they would see that it's very expensive. I think that was just unfortunate, but it is what it is.
Right.
At least that was my feeling, because this is just a snapshot, 3 months, and these were the presentations that we did. But of course, we have done other stuff prior to that would, I think, be more expensive. The other thing is, I think that they actually, most, not all, gave good constructive feedback about things that they would like to see. So I was actually appreciative that particular city councilor said, hey, we want more on behavioral health. Well, we're doing that. So, we have an ally there that is already interested in that work. So I think it gave us insight into what was interesting and of areas of interest for the counselors and even the mayor. I do think that there were 2 things that concerned me. One was wanting preliminary recommendations, and they didn't say low-hanging fruit recommendations. They said it would be great to get recommendations ahead of time. And I really think that we should resist because I think that they're not, what I think is not clear is how vital and important the community engagement piece is for us in this process. And so I just think we need to stand strong on that, and just be like, this is what we're doing. I also think that getting feedback from them on our community engagement process is fine too. But letting them know as we're doing it, this is what we're doing for the community engagement process. This is what our survey work is. And we didn't really have an opportunity because they kind of jumped in on other things to really explain to them what that community engagement process would look like. So, I just think we have to be strong that community engagement piece is the most important thing, not the most. It is really, really integral to our findings and recommendations as we move forward. And that's it. And stay strong that, our report will be ready when our report is ready with our recommendations.
Anything else about that, about other concerns?
Yeah, I feel like they think that, and it's totally normal, particularly for policymakers and electeds, but the community engagement piece is sort of this side piece. And we have to just keep making it's truly integral to what we're doing. I don't know,
Yeah.
maybe that was I'd be curious, Renee, what you thought, or Chris.
Welcome, Chris, you there? But Lydia, do you have any feedback, or Bruce? You said you heard part of it, right?
From the meeting, from the committee
Yeah.
meeting?
Mhm.
No, my son had some things that I'm not going to share. I'm
Okay.
just going to leave it at that.
Okay.
Yeah, and it was about the finance stuff, so.
Oh boy. So he got sucked into the audit discussion.
He's got a business degree too, so that's, yeah, anyway. Okay,
Yeah.
All right, I heard my name. I just got settled in from public safety, so not really sure what the question was.
We are talking about reflections from the Q3 presentation and the feedback and comments that were made at the council meeting.
Yeah, the only things that I really took out of it were community questions regarding behavioral health and mental health. So I don't know if that was brought up again. And then a little more discussion on overdose prevention centers, and not sure if that would fit into the community engagement piece at some point or not, or
I think that's a great one.
those are the main things I took from the meeting.
Thank you. I just have a question. Who was asking about overdose prevention sites? And does anybody remember what the context of that was? Because I think that definitely
Mayor.
falls. Oh,
The mayor was really interested in it.
I think that definitely falls under the community engagement piece. A very long time ago, I worked on some of that because the state actually was looking at studying the issue. And a big part of that is, how do you make overdose prevention sites work in a more rural context, right? And like thinking through some of these things. So I think having a question on our instrument that addresses that could be really interesting. I would just worry about who we're asking it to, because you also want to get with the right demographic to see if there's different ways we can do this. Anyways, we can do this when we're workshopping what the instrument looks like, but that's really interesting and really wonderful too.
Yeah, very positive, a lot of feedback. I think part of it was a little realistic. He didn't use the word NIMBY, but there are always those concerns of, hey, this is great, love it, don't put it near me. And so there weren't any statements about that. There was just sort of the issue as we explore this, we might run into folks that don't want it near them. So,
And I think it was more following up on what Gino said about how the centers that opened up said that there wasn't any increased drug use or
Right.
increased violence around opening up a center in certain neighborhoods. So I think he was really interested in that piece of it, that part of it.
That's
He
great.
was also likening it to the sanctioned living spaces pushback that we've gotten from people that don't want areas where homeless folks can reside. The other thing, Monica, is that question about mental health, behavioral health. I said that kind of weaves in most of our presentations, and that even the one about the overdose prevention centers, there was definitely a connection to behavioral and mental health.
Yeah, I mean, overdose prevention centers are literal, I mean, it's a focus center of behavioral health. You know, you don't just, the thing that's so amazing about these, it's a wonderful public health model because there's so many nurses, other types of practitioners, both, you know, yeah, there's behavioral health people all there in one place. It actually is an access to healthcare issue too, right? It solves that. And, you know, and I totally hear the issue about, right, like not near me, right, not in my backyard. But there's really interesting models in other countries where there's mobile vans, right? There's different ways to make that more mobile. And to be fair, people are already in those neighborhoods. They're already everywhere. So, you know, there's ways to sort of try to address some of those concerns. And I think some of the people that have those concerns, they're never going to be happy with a particular policy solution in that realm, unless it means that, you know, they are completely isolated from other people.
Right. Thank you. Valeria, did you have any insight
Yeah,
or reflections?
yeah, much echoed everyone's observations, and I think it really came across that the mayor took his time to read through the report because of some of the things that he pointed out as, you know, positive, you know, feedback, especially in and around overdose prevention center, mental and behavioral health. I'm sorry. So I think overall it went well. I struggle with synthesizing all this amazing work and depth and breadth of work that you're all doing. And of course, it's reflective in the report and in the slide deck because we have such a limited time. You know, wish we could say more, of course, and that's always a challenge. So, but the next quarterly presentation, I think, taking into consideration that feedback around mental and behavioral health. To your point, Renee, it'll be great to kind of highlight, right, throughout the last 4 quarters where that has been a focus, and also in relation to the community engagement body of work, because I'm sure there'll be some of that focus as well. So
Right.
Great work, everybody. Feel deeply proud of all of you.
I think the one thing that was a criticism that brought up about, well, our work's taking long and why hasn't the community engagement piece happened? And how does it tie into the work and all the listening sessions and study sessions that we've had? And I think that is a good point. We see the connection. I think once the community engagement happens, then you'll be able to see that clearly. And then some of the topics that we have discussed, they may not be on the community engagement, like questions or be any of the focus, but they're still important pieces to our work. Because you all are charged with like also thinking about things that are important based on lived experience, your expertise, and the work you do daily. So I think that it's unfair to say that what we've currently focused on in our panel discussions, especially if you haven't seen them or even watched them, then you have no idea that there is this synergy, there is a connection. We're not just like picking things out of the air. So I think that's hard for me to hear because of the amount of work that we all do on our volunteer time. And I had stated that it's not like we want extra meetings in our lives, you know, and we keep doing this work because we think it's important. So we want to see it through to the end. And I hope all of you feel that way, because I'm committed to it. And I think we all have a lot on our plate. So I think that criticism was hard because I just know how much we all work on this stuff. So, and the fact that if no one gets to watch and doesn't take time to watch our meetings and watch some of the presentations, then you really don't have a context other than what you read if you read our document. So I think that's just, I wanted to state that, but I think overall there was some good feedback and just, yeah, if we had more time, there probably would be more questions, but we had a lot on the agenda. So we'll be doing another presentation at the end of the year in December. So we have to think about like what we want to, how we want to structure that. And if we give just a summary of all the things that learnings and then like how it ties into the community engagement potentially, I don't know. We'll have to talk about that. And maybe you all can talk about what that could look like in the working sessions we'll have this evening. So anything else on that? And welcome, Mary Louise. I think you're with us, although we don't see you.
I'm here with you guys, but I'm also on another, I'm with a deaf family right now. And so I'm watching the closed caption here until they need me. They're filling out some paperwork.
No problem. Thanks for being with us. We'll just make that note, Valeria, or whoever was tracking it, maybe Julie, that Mary Louise is with us. And all right, where are we here? Oh, go ahead, Valeria. You're on mute.
Hi, everybody. Thanks, Renee. So we're feeling complete with feedback. Just wanted, communications from facilitator is up next. And I just wanted to give a heads up that we have November 1st confirmation. Oh, this is a different thing. Renee, do you want me to give that update of the 30 by 30? See if people want to join.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, can't hear you.
Yes, sorry. Yes, and that's a working group presentation if folks want to join that one.
Yeah.
What was the date again, Valeria? Or tell us more.
November 1st, 30 by 30 initiative presentation with Maureen Quinn McGaw. And I think it's going to be during the day. I'm happy to send that Zoom invite to folks who want to let me know now or throughout the course of today's meeting via the chat that you'll be joining. Our next time together will be November 8th, and that is wide open for a learning session. If there are learning sessions that you have in your priority list, that would be a great day, as well as November 15th. And then we have one more open, essentially, time slot for a presentation would be December 6th. So I just wanted to put that in your radar. November 8th, 15th, and December 6th are available for learning sessions should you have one in the works.
Hold on, Valeria. Our meeting schedule that I have, I don't know if everyone else has, is our next meeting is November 1st at 5:30. And then the next one is November 15th.
Oh my goodness. Hold on one second. What do I have?
Yeah. And the 30 by 30 is on November 7th.
Thank you, Gino. I just saw that. Okay. Sorry. My apologies. Thank you. So the 7th, then we have Tuesday, November 8th, our usual task force meeting. And then Renee, you said the 15th is the next one after the 8th, right?
No, it's November 1st. I don't know what calendar you're looking at, but I have November 1st, November 15th.
Oh,
Right.
November 1st and then November 15th. Yes.
Mhm.
I don't know why I have the 8th here. But anyways, yes, November 1st. Thank you for that clarification. November 15th. So the 7th, the 15th of November, and then December 6th is when we have remaining time slots for this year for presentations. So I just wanted to put that out there. The 1st, the 15th of November, and then December 6th. Hopefully I made better sense now. Okay, that's it for me from my end. Do we want to move into working group updates?
Do you want to remind us, so November 7th, we get the time for that? Was that at 12:30? Do you know?
Gina, do you have the
Bruce?
email open, my friend?
Bruce is saying yes, I think. If you all want to join us, but I'm pretty sure it's at 12:30 and it was the 30 by 30 presentation. I don't know if anyone needs more info about what that was about.
That's what I put in my calendar, 12:30.
Yep, I think I got an invite from Valeria.
And Monica, you wanted to know what that was? Gino,
Yeah,
can you just say a little bit about that?
very quickly stated, it's a national initiative to increase female participation in law enforcement to 30% by 2030. So it's about gender diversity in law enforcement. And it's a big initiative. We had initially heard about it through NPR, and it's a project through NYU, and they have dozens upon dozens of cities signed on to the initiative. And so it's a presentation from them telling us what they do and how that can assist us. And of course, I'm preaching to the choir on what positive effects diversity in law enforcement has on the community.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Righty, team. Thank you, Gino. And moving on to working group updates.
Did Julie have anything to share with us?
Oh, I missed that. Sorry. Go ahead, Julie.
No, it's okay. No, I don't have anything to share, but a question for Bruce on the 30 by 30 initiative. Is that just law enforcement, or is that also like public safety in general, like fire?
I think that would be for Gino.
Oh, sorry, Gino.
With regard to 30 for 30, their focus really is police and not fire. But I expect that there are things that we can glean from their presentation that'll be adaptable also to fire.
Okay. Yeah, that would be really helpful. So I think, Valeria, if you could send me the invite, I'd appreciate it. But I don't have any updates.
Hey, before we move on, during the council meeting, I don't think we showed you enough love, Julie. I think, you weren't on, so, or at least we couldn't see you. So there wasn't that kind of focus on you, but I do want you to know we appreciate you, and we, just that there was just an oversight, I think, on my part, and just want to let you know how much we do appreciate you and how much you mean to our committee, and just wanted to say that.
Yes. I think we were thrown off by some things that were asked that night that I was like, whoa. But Julie, yes, you were in our hearts that night. It was a tough one. So thank you for all the work you do. Beyond just our work. A lot more. This is just a very small piece of what you do.
Definitely.
Thank you. Before we go into working groups, right, Valeria, we're going into working groups. I just wanted to point out that Sarah Grant is on with us, and she's a community member that's very interested in our work. And I was like, hey, maybe you want to be involved with some more stuff. I don't know if you really wanted to I just want to put that out there. Sarah Grant has done a lot of great work. And I've known her through the circuit of like farmers markets, and she just got an award at the Farmers Market Institute event that I was at last week. And it was just great to see her in her element, but also all the other work that she probably doesn't talk about. So I just think about Sarah. I don't, if there's any way we can utilize a community member, if you have the time and inclination, Sarah, I just want you to know that maybe there's a way that we could include you more. Because you come to our meetings and I love that you do that. And I know you like personally in a different way. So I just wanted to let you all know that Sarah's an informed member of our community. And so if there's some way we can think about yeah, including her in some way or utilizing her community interest and interest in this topic. So I've had conversations with her before about it. So just want to put that out there. And so you know who Sarah is when she joins us, and her cat that we sometimes see. Did you want to say anything, Sarah?
Thanks a lot. And, you know, I'm definitely in listening mode and I'm attending at this point just to kind of hear where you guys are at before I necessarily jump in, but I am pretty interested in the topic in the long term. And so, you know, if any of you suddenly, seems like an opportunity where you think, oh, if we had a person who was kind of on that, I might say, sure, I can participate in that way. And, you know, I'm a reasonable person and I love the city and I appreciate the work that you guys are doing. And so if something should come up, just keep me in mind because I will keep showing up at these meetings.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
See how I was already trying to recruit her to do work with us? But yes, so now just wanted you to know who Sarah was because she has been joining us even in person in our meetings, and we appreciate that.
As we're thinking about future meetings as well, there's the new 988 initiative that the federal government's doing, and it's my understanding that they're trying to implement 4 mobile crisis response teams within the state, and Santa Fe is not included as one of them, but I guess they're looking at different counties. So are we interested in a presentation about that maybe Andres or maybe Julie or Director Ochoa can report on, or are we kind of not interested in that piece of it?
I didn't quite understand what group it or what.
Yeah, so the 988 initiative is for suicide prevention. So it's a number you can call federal number throughout the nation that you can call if you're in a suicidal crisis. And my understanding is that the federal government is putting out funding for 4 mobile crisis response teams. One's in Doña County. I'm not sure where the other 3 are. Julie had her hand up. I don't know if she has more information, but.
So I met with the 988 team last month, and they want to provide a point of clarification. It is not a suicide prevention hotline. It is actually a behavioral health and substance abuse resource access line. And so they really want to kind of dispel the misnomer that 988 is for suicidal ideation. That's a piece of what they can address, but really it's for resources for behavioral health, substance abuse, and folks who are possibly in crisis.
So would that be a worthwhile topic for one of our meetings to have the 988 crisis team? Is that what you called it, Julie? Maybe do a presentation on what they're all about and maybe what these crisis response teams would be doing and where they would be at. I don't know if they have a response jurisdiction throughout the state or if it's just in the county they're in. That part I'm not sure about, but it may be worth hearing about if the rest of the group is interested.
Julie, is that in the region? Is it specific to the county, Santa Fe County, or not even Santa Fe County, but
Well, Santa Fe County has its own mobile crisis unit, so I wonder if they were trying not to duplicate services in Santa Fe County, but yeah, it would be interesting to bring them in and, you know, figure out, I think, how regionally they interact with, like, you know, potentially like with the ARU or other mobile crisis unit from Santa Fe County. Like, you know, there might be, we might be able to discuss that a little bit more.
It was just an idea for a topic, since you know we have a couple weeks here without a topic in mind.
Chris, I like it because it intersects with a lot of the things that we've been doing. Crisis intervention may actually point them in different directions. It might be suicidal ideations, but it might be from the lack of the supports that we've been talking about in some of our other programming.
Right. Julie, can you schedule the 988 team, I guess, to do a presentation on a day that you think you can get them all together?
and if there's other topics that aren't being shared tonight that we want to try to cover, or you all are interested in organizing, can you let us know? That'd be great.
Okay. All righty. So next we have, do we want to go into matters from the task force? We go in before going into the breakout session, so that when we complete our breakout sessions, we can be done. How does that sound?
That works.
Awesome. Matters from the task force. Go ahead, Monica.
Just wanted to highlight a webinar that Emily sent out to everybody, and I put it in the chat. It's a webinar about redesigning public safety. There's a focus on traffic. One of my colleagues will be presenting as well, talking a little bit about fines and fees and and actually talking about speeding cameras and some other things. So that's tomorrow at 1 o'clock our time. And I put if you want to register, you can certainly do that. And there's also a corresponding paper. So some of this won't be necessarily new, but I just wanted to encourage everybody.
Okay, so I'm technologically challenged. So how do I copy and paste what you put in chat? Or how do I save it so when this is gone, I can look at it?
You know what I do is I just click on it, like just click on it right now, and it'll pop up in your browser, and then you can just look at it later. Also, Emily sent out an email, so it's also in your email.
Okay.
But what I usually do is I'll just click on all of the links in the chat if I want to save them, and it'll pop up in your Zoom window browser. And then when you close out the Zoom, then you'll have all of those already up.
Okay.
It's also interesting to look to, I always like doing this just as far as like report layout. I don't like to reinvent the wheel. I like to look at how other reports are laid out and then copy it, because it's a lot easier. So looking at this report, it's interesting the way it's laid out too, where it's like, do this, then it's like recommendations under this particular focus, and then list those. So it's also a nice thing to look at. And they have some really good recommendations that we've already discussed and that correspond to some of our presentations.
Thank you, Monica. Okay. Anyone else matters from the task force before we do our breakout sessions? Okay, I don't see any hands up.
Julie,
Go ahead.
I was
Go ahead.
wondering, Julie, if you could join us in our working group briefly before you have to leave, just so you could give us an update on the information we're seeking. Thank you.
So I wanted just to thank all of you for all your help and participation. We're extending the task force work another 6 months, and I don't think we've really asked any of you if you want to continue. I think we just assume that you wanted to finish your work, and I hope you do. I'm begging that you do. And
Is there a pay increase?
yes, definitely. 1% increase.
Monica has a question. Go for it, Monica.
I appreciate that. I hate not finishing things. It like irks me so much. So I certainly would like to stay and as long as I possibly could make it happen. The only thing that I will say is that we are heading into a 60-day legislative session, and I will be pretty MIA during those 60 days. So
I'm hoping Gabe will be doing his work during that time. So that's my thought process. I don't know. It may or may not work out, but I'm hoping that's kind of the way it goes.
And I'm wondering, as some of these, and I don't know, maybe this isn't a good idea, so everybody chime in, but we have these last couple meetings heading into, before the holidays. If instead of, necessarily filling it with more learning sessions, because I think that we've done a whole lot, right? We have a lot of concrete material to work with that can then also go into the instrument. That maybe one of those meetings, or, we can talk about just how we're gonna approach wrapping it up, and also, hopefully that during the legislative session, we may not be meeting, or there aren't expectations that some of us are there, just because there's no way I'm going to be able to I know that I will have a hard time doing that.
That's a great point, Monica.
Mhm.
I actually think that with that time, we should try to get everything in order so that whatever Gabe needs and organizing that, and I guess that would be through your working group. If you need more of us to participate, please let us know. But I just like full on time that we could use to get everything, all the kinks worked out so that Gabe has what he needs and he can start moving forward.
Have you thought about quitting your job, Monica, and just focusing on your attention?
You know what? I have, because I don't need money. I'll be staying at your house, right?
Sure, we have an extra room.
Perfect.
We'll take the whole task force.
I'd have to bring my dogs, and you don't want that.
All righty. Do I see any other hands up for task force matters, questions, feedback? Renee, Chris, how are we feeling about breakout sessions? Do you feel this is a good time to do that? And I'll join Chris's team first, and then I'll hop over to you, Renee.
Sounds good.
Thank you, Julie. Hi, Julie.
Hey, Val, I think this is the only way that I can make you the host, so I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. No apologies needed.
Okay, all good.
Does it say where yes, hold on. Let me just look really quick. It says the host. So appreciate you, Julie. Have a lovely
Thank you,
evening.
Val.
Take
Take
care.
care. Bye.
Bye, honey. Yeah.